Rachel. I go to Northeastern University and I participated in the spring 2023 CIS Thailand program at Mahidol University.
Why did you choose CIS abroad?
Definitely, I was scared about the idea of going so far away from home. And a few of the other places I was looking at didn't have any type of program that really, would have people that you could rely on and ask questions. However, CIS, it it felt I was confident that I could go there and be taken care of. Um, just knowing that there was all this communication and that they were helping me set up with housing and just connect with other people, it felt so much easier to make this decision.
What factors influence your decision to select this program?
I was debating for a very long time about where to go. Um, you know, I think the typical place is Europe. That's where a lot of my friends have gone before. So I was considering different countries there. However, I was going in the spring, so it was going to be cold then. So I wanted a place that was warm, hence Southeast Asia. And I also wanted a place that was just completely different from somewhere I've ever been before. I had only been to Europe. So I was really curious about just immersing myself in a completely new culture and language. And with all of that on top of the fact that CIS was involved with it, it was the perfect fit.
Can you give some tips on surviving the first 2 weeks on site?
First, I will say it wasn't hard to survive. I was very much enjoying it from the start. Um, I would say do prioritize looking after yourself. It's easy to get caught up in the constant socialization because, especially with CIS, like you have like 20 friends built in right away, which is awesome. But, alone time and self-care is super important, especially in such a weird new transition that you've never been in before. So I would always like make sure to go on walks or like go for a swim by myself. And I think just those little things helped kind of ground me because it is easy to just get all caught up in it so early on.
What was your favorite class and why?
Ooh, okay, so I mean, honestly, I really liked my Thai language class. Um, I think, well, first of all, I hadn't taken a language class since high school. So it was a really great opportunity that I wouldn't have gotten in college otherwise. And it was also really nice because everyone in that class was also an exchange student. So we were all kind of going through the same experience together. And it also just felt really good to learn more about the culture and the language of the country that I was living in, especially Thailand. It really was helpful to actually use what we learned in that class, like when we were shopping or riding a taxi. So that was definitely by far the most rewarding class. But I will also say I took some like business and environmental classes, which was super interesting because this was the first time I was learning about these areas from a really global perspective. Before just taking these classes in America, we focus on, I don't know, American problems. But it was really interesting to learn about certain specific like environmental issues going on in Southeast Asia. So that was also amazing.
How were your classes compared to classes in the US?
Honestly, they were pretty similar. They were probably each class met twice a week for, I don't know, like an hour and a half, that was exactly how it is at Northeastern for me. And I would say they were also set up very similar in that, sometimes the professor would start with a little lecture, but then they would open it up for discussion, which was really great. I think something about me, I like to be kind of a hands-on learner. I can't just sit through a lecture for hours. And I feel like that is something that people might be scared of going to a new country because there are different teaching styles everywhere. But I was lucky to find that I had plenty of opportunity to raise my hand and shout out answers as much as I wanted. So yeah, and then like the homework level was honestly not bad at all. There were some projects. I was pleasantly surprised with the academic experience there.
Can you tell us more about your housing and commute to school?
The housing was incredible. I didn't realize how nice it was going to be. It was this big, like dormitory style building. And let's see. So you had the option to either have one roommate or have a room to yourself. I had a room to myself, which was honestly very nice, especially as I said, like to take the time to have some alone time is important. So all of the rooms had lovely cold air conditioning, great beds, like two desks, fridge, and every room had their own balcony, which was insane and something I've never had before. And so like on the balcony, I would just go out there, hang up my clothes to dry or just like read at night. And then we also had our own bathrooms, which was also really nice. So it was luxury for sure. And it was also really nice, especially with CIS, they placed all of us on the same like floor. So that just added such a fun communal aspect because I knew everyone on my floor and we would just like go out in the hallway, see each other, hang out in each other's rooms. It was amazing. And the other facilities of the building were really nice. There was this gorgeous outdoor pool, there was a gym, there were some cafes attached to the buildings. And then so for transport to school, so this building was specifically designed for like students of the university. Basically, everyone on that street, whether it was this building or another, went to the university. So the way they have it set up is that a van will come in the mornings, like all throughout, like 15-minute intervals, and you just hop on the van and it drives you to school. And that's like 5-minute drive, and it's always fun to like see your friends on the van as well, and then it picks you up, you like meet at this place on campus and then it takes you back and it's so simple and convenient. Yeah, no, it was like literally perfect.
What was your favorite part of your program?
That is such a hard question. I loved everything, but I mean the first thing that I always say is just the people that I met. Like, and again, it really is like the people I ended up being best friends with are from CIS. From the very start, we were just hanging out all the time, went on all these fun excursions. And I don't know, it was also just a great mix of people from around the country. And everyone's personality was different and silly. And it was just really a breath of fresh air to like meet so many new, different people that I definitely wouldn't have come across just staying in college in Boston.
What was your favorite excursion?
Um, let's see. I would say honestly the Cambodia excursion. So that was through CIS. That happened like the first weekend pretty much after we settled in, which was so nice because we were all new, didn't really understand how the traveling through different countries and visas worked. So it was really nice that a CIS like worker staff person came with us. So they really helped us figure out the logistical visa things, which took a lot of stress off of that. But then also the actual trip was incredible. It was, first of all, a really good way to get closer with the CIS people. And they took us to Angkor Wat, which was an incredible experience. We got to see it as the sun rose, and we had delicious meals, learned so much. It was a really nice like hotel that we stayed at, and then we went on this fun bike ride the next day, and it was just it was a mix of fun and uh educational, not in the way, not educational like classroom, but I just feel like we learned a lot, especially because we were there with a program. So we didn't have to like figure things out on our own, the things were planned for us. So that was a really just great way to dip our toes into the whole traveling scene. And then throughout the rest of the semester, we felt more comfortable and confident to book trips ourselves.
How did your on-site director impact your time abroad?
David was the official on-site director, and he was great because he welcomed us like right when we got off, when we landed in Bangkok, and gave us this whole informational presentation, and also gave us these nice little gifts like these elephant bags and journals. And he was like, I want you to, write down your favorite memories throughout the time, whatever. So that was really nice. And he also just made it clear that he was going to be a resource for us throughout. So we had his phone number, and I mean, there were times where I needed to figure out like certain medications that needed to be transferred over, and I would just reach out to him, and he like sent me the exact information for which hospital that I could go to, and it was just so helpful that he was always just answering and there to provide support. And then also, so Anne was the other on-site director. She came on the excursions with us, and she was just the best. We kind of all called her our Thai mom, and she was just so sweet. And I really do feel like at the end of the program, when we said goodbye to both of them, it was so sad, and we're still in touch with them though. So
Can you share tips on transitioning from being on site to coming back home?
that was honestly the hardest part. Getting to Thailand, that was all great. It was coming back. So for me, I made it a goal to still incorporate the things that I learned while abroad. So, for me, it was trying new things. I was constantly exposed to new things, new foods, new cultures, and I really loved that. So I didn't want to just go back and stop learning. So when I got back, I actually started to take Thai lessons weekly, which was just a really nice reminder. And I would just do certain, I don't know, I would just push myself to explore more, even though it wasn't in Thailand. It really helped me like stay with the mindset. And I think that's the whole point of study abroad. You're only there for a certain amount of time, but it's what you get out of it afterwards. And at the same time, of course it was hard because I missed my friends that I made and the places. But I think it's also important to be able to still live in the present. So I was just very thankful, to be back with my friends and family. So it's I'm still learning how to best, go about it, because it was such a life-changing time.
What surprised you about your time abroad?
Oh, you will become a new person, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm sure I'll like become more better at traveling. Like it really was not only that, but like emotionally, like mentally life changing. I think of it just because of all the different aspects. Like I learned so much about myself from the friendships that I made, and I gained so much more confidence. Literally every time I would travel and just have a conversation with a new person, it added so much, I don't know, joy and confidence. And I guess I didn't realize that I would change that much. But now I'm so grateful that all of that happened. And, again, like I said, I'm trying to still implement all of those practices and things that I learned while abroad here. And I mean, none of this, there's so much new to my life now, new friends that I have here at Northeastern because of abroad. And I mean, yeah, everything's different for the best.